My name is Joy Hamilton, and I'm the administrative director at Kaleidoscope and the assistant to the director. We get our referrals from people who know people and know us, and then there's a form. We have a pretty user-friendly website, www.kaleidoscopehope.org, and they can go in there and refer somebody who they just found out had cancer. It could be a family member, a neighbor, and then we get together and look at the information and we make a basket to take for them, and we assign them a team person, and then we develop a relationship with them ongoing. We come back and talk to them and take them to doctor's appointments. Sometimes we give them gift cards. Sometimes we just send them a card in the mail and just we're there for them. Some families are divorced. People are alone. They don't have a support system. Some have an amazing support system. Well, we have expanded our title to cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. And what we have found, I was trying to look up the woman's name, she wrote a book called Compassionate Fatigue. And it's one of the side effects of people that are supporting people with cancer. It's very demanding. Nobody takes care of them. They're taking care of the person, and it's really hard on them. So we have a spiritual leader who will come and sit with you and pray, and she does dances and meditations and to kind of relax you when you're in a tough place. We used to have a person who ran a support group once a month for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's, because that's a really tough gig too. But our main focus is support, and we're all lay people. So we have a notebook. We refer people to health services, and we try to make the rounds to the Kaiser and other doctors' offices and say, this is what we do. We're a support group. If you find somebody who needs support, let us know. We're trying to get into churches. We can't cure it, but we can make you feel better if you have it. And that's sort of our purpose and our drive. Yes, when we give our baskets out, when you're referred to us, we give you a basket. We usually give you a journal. Sometimes it's a prayer journal. Sometimes it's just a blank journal. We talk about getting things down in writing. If we get somebody who's been referred to us late in the journey, which really is sad for us because we don't get to know them as well as we would have if they're end of life, but we'll sit down with them and talk about, do you want us to go through any jewelry that you have to make sure certain family members get things in there tagged in, and so that your will is being done after you're gone. So we help them with that. We have a binder that we will refer people to. Sometimes burials are very expensive, and so we try to give them options that aren't life-altering. Again, we don't really give advice in the sense of, we would never say to somebody, don't see that doctor, he's terrible. Mm-hmm. If they're going to a doctor, we support their decisions. But we do have a lot of resources. We have a binder. And it's things like having your PG&E reduced. A lot of people that are ill can have reduced PG payments. Food stamps, deliveries to homes for food. We do bring food to families. We do cook for them. Not as much as we did before COVID, but we used to bring them meals every week, but we don't do that as often because of all kinds of reasons. But we try to go in and know what the people need and then supply that need. We had one woman who has since died, but one of the members said she didn't like the doctor she was having. We can't say that, but they can with each other. And she said, why, you have ovarian cancer, you should have a doctor specializing in female cancer. Why do you have a general cancer specialist? And she said, well, they just assigned me and I didn't want to make a ruckus. She said, make a ruckus. We'll go in and help you make a ruckus. And so after that meeting, they went to the doctor and requested a second opinion. And Kaiser doesn't want to pay for second opinions if it's out of their area, out of their district. But we have resources where lawyers will come in and get them that if it's needed. So we can't do it all ourselves because we're really pretty small, but we have good fundraisers and we work in nursing homes. Sometimes people are in nursing homes and they're not getting support there. You know, they're getting medicine and physical therapy, but they're not getting a personal. So we go there sometimes. Not all of our stories are success stories. You know, we lose a lot of people, but we feel like even in the loss that we were there for them. This little boy had his memorial. 500 people came. His parents got a drone and they flew over we all had our picture taken. Because this kid, we didn't go there because he died. We went to the memorial because he lived. And he taught us amazing lessons, and his mother's amazing. And when she gets through the first few months, I want to recruit her to be a resource for parents with kids who have cancer. It's a whole different ballgame. We often have people who say, well, give us a $50 donation because when my mother had cancer, you brought her a basket, and they want to come back. We have a lot of repeat people that have had a positive experience with Kaleidoscope. We have a spiritual garden in the back with a labyrinth, and walking a labyrinth is a spiritual experience. Yeah, we have a lot of people who remember a kindness. And about 3 months ago, we had a family that owns several restaurants in the Pittsburgh area, and the father died at 61. I believe he might have been 62. And they couldn't think, what they wanted his memorial to be. So they called us and said, we'll throw a dinner for everybody, for 300 people. And we'll put cards out to donate to Kaleidoscope. They really appreciated the contact. And the wife appreciated it when her husband was driving her nuts and he was really, really sick. She had somebody to talk to that was not a family member. That's so key. If you're in trouble, you maybe don't want to tell your mother because you don't want her to have an opinion.
Right.
So you needed what we call disinterested. They're not really disinterested, but people on the outside that can see it totally differently. The first person I ever helped, I called her and I told her who I was and what I was doing. And she said, well, I'm an oncology nurse and I have breast cancer. Right off the bat, I knew she knew more than I did about any kind of cancer. And she said, I'm Filipino. Okay, you don't need family support. The Filipinos have people everywhere. What she said is, what I want you to do for me is when I call, to just sit on the phone and listen. Because there's some scary things I need and want to say, but I can't tell my mother or my father or my aunt because they'll flip out. And I just need to say it and work it through. And that's what I did. And she called me about every other week for about maybe 6 or 8 weeks. And then she said, I think I'm good. Thank you for helping me through. So sometimes it's just something simple. It's not always a big thing. When we invite speakers to come in, the people that own the salt caves. Have you been to the salt caves?
No.
You go into this room that's covered with salt and you breathe, and it's a cleansing thing. And they have donated some of those kinds of things to people that were having breathing issues. And we have people that donate massages and haircuts. And once a year we have a caregivers retreat. So we invite all the people over and they donate their time for the people that are taking care of these people. So, luckily we're not huge and we have a lot of contacts, but we are getting bigger and we need to branch out further. But the people that are downtown, the salt caves is over across from Big O Tire, and you just have a session. You go in there and you breathe and it clears your sinuses. And when you're sick, we've had people go there. They're very generous. They have a woman who specializes in aromatherapy, and she does all the test points on your wrists and stuff, and she comes every couple times a year, and she donates her time for free. We have very gracious people who come in and help. And luckily, like I said, we don't have 50 people that need that service. We have very generous people.
My name is Lauren Huffmaster, and I am the founder and director of Adventure Therapy Foundation. Our organization really looks at the emotional side effects of cancer, and we have built a significant number of resources around educating people on how it's typical, it's normal to have an emotional response to cancer, just like you would have a physical response. But it's not often defined very well, and there's not a lot of resources. So we are looking at how to strengthen people emotionally so they can live very purposeful lives following their diagnosis. We have a number of resources and programs. We're launching a new program right now called the Cancering Collective, which is an empowerment group, a coaching group, and also a writing group. So we're going to lead writing classes, therapeutic writing, trauma writing, and we're creating a whole new platform to tell the stories of cancer so that we can normalize what it feels like to have cancer. The other resources we have is a podcast called The Adventures with Scars, and that tells the stories again of the cancering experience. We have a book called Cancering, and it is our philosophy, our base. And so everything we do really comes out of this book. It's available on Amazon, or if you're impacted by cancer, you can write to us and we'll send you a free copy. I've also written a children's book called The Adventure Jar, and it's really looking at a child's perspective of what it looks like for a child to watch a parent go through cancer. But our heart is not to just address the patient, but to really address the whole family. And so the Adventure Jar looks at how the family can make magic, make beautiful moments, even in moments that would otherwise be disappointing. Yeah, so our plan right now is we're leading classes. So we're reading prompt-based trauma. We have hired some trauma therapists who just deal with writing and trauma. And we're providing, they'll provide a space for you to respond to a prompt and then share with that group. And it'll be a virtual group so people can join from all over. And then over time, we're hoping that people will want to submit their stories that they write. But we are creating a series of prompts and even a booklet that people can go through as they process their own emotional journey through cancer. And we have writing coaches, we have cancering coaches, we have lots of people who will help you process your emotions, because our goal is really to move people from a place where they feel like sort of a victim or you're constantly wounded by cancer to a place where your story has empowered you. You find your strength, that yes, you're scarred now, but those scars represent your healing. Those scars represent how you moved through this very difficult situation. And we want to teach people that they are actually powerful and teach them to tell their story in a powerful way. So our goal is, this is our launching year, so I don't want to overstep, but this year is all about writing. We hope to create an anthology of stories. We're presenting them all on Instagram and on a page, a website. But yes, our goal for next year is to move that into a speaking engagement. So this year we're going to throw our first conference. And next year we hope at the conference some of the individuals who have gone through our coaching programs will be the speakers there. Definitely, we have groups called kinships. So the kinships are groups of people, and in my experience, I've been in treatment for 10 years. So in my experience, I don't need to find people who have my exact diagnosis. I need to find people who are in the same moment of life with me, I have teen girls, find people who have the same interests. And so our kinships are really based around interest or stages of life, but everyone has cancer. So there's now an art group meeting in Discovery Bay, I think in 2 weeks. We have a group here in Brentwood that meets regularly of all teachers. Everyone in the group is a teacher impacted by cancer. And so we have a number of groups, book clubs, where people can get together, just read the book. But it's an opportunity to build relationship and sort of start again. So yes, you have plenty of chance to talk about your cancer journey, but you have a chance to talk about who you are and who you want to become as well. We want to encourage people to find people they can be friends with long term. That's why the teachers, they all spend most of their day doing the same kinds of things, right? And so when they come together, their struggles around their cancer and their life are very similar. If I were to hang out with someone with stage 4 cancer, but they didn't have any children, well, the struggles they face every day are going to be very different than the struggles I face. But if I find someone with stage 3 cancer, well, it's not even breast cancer, but they have teens and they're also going through a lot of the same things, the questions on how do I talk to my teens about this is going to be the same as hers, right? So these are the kind of things that I think are really important for processing emotion. My organization's very strict. Like we're not teaching you about how to eat right or exercise. We really want to help people process their emotions through this. We have done a lot of collaborative events. Last year with the Downtown Brentwood Coalition, we did the fashion show, and that was a huge success. All the downtown boutiques provided outfits for the women. All the beauty shops downstairs did did hair and makeup, and then we used the Delta Theater for that. It was a huge, we had a documentary on the screen that told the story of the women in the fashion show, so that was an amazing event. Sold out almost instantly, so next time no one should wait. You should buy your ticket right away. And so we've done that. We've done a lot of collaborative events. We do plan in the summer to have like sort of a family field day where we have a cookout and just lots of games and things for people to do to get together. We have the Christmas event, which is a huge success every year at the ice skating rink with dinner and Santa Claus, and this year we had a horse and buggy and the whole thing. And so we have essentially 4 big events, community-based events every year. We do have a fundraiser every year. This year we're trying for the first time to put on a conference. So that'll be new for us, and it won't necessarily pull from right here. We're hoping to pull in a larger part of the Bay Area, but we definitely think everyone in Brentwood should come as well. It's going to be a film festival, so we're going to show films that really depict what the cancer experience feels like, and I think that's going to be very powerful. And we'll have speakers come and reflect on the films. I think it's going to be healing and revealing. I think the thing about cancer is that if you're not impacted by cancer, it doesn't mean you don't need to learn, because someone you love will be impacted by cancer at some point. And if you know how to support them, then you're going to change their life because you've already got the tools to be there for them, right? What we do often is pretend like no one's going to get cancer, and then the time comes and then you don't know what to do and you're overwhelmed, and we who are the patients walk through this again and again and again completely alone, because no one has the tools to stand there and know what to do to support us. And so as a Venture Therapy, we're really trying to change that trend. If 1 in 3 people are going to get diagnosed, then we all need to be educated on how to support each other through such a thing. Oh, we definitely invite families. Yeah, we have very family-centric philosophy. When I was diagnosed, my children were 2, 4, and 6, and I knew that the rest of their life would be impacted by cancer. Therefore, they needed the tools to live with cancer just like I did. And so that's why we've collaborated on a children's book, and that's why we're writing books to teach everyone in the family really what it feels like, and to support and acknowledge their journey. I think it's very common to just talk about the patient. When my husband had to walk through everything with me every day for 10 years, for half of our marriage, but no one ever asks him, right? No one talks to him or supports him. A doctor's never asked if he needed anything, so, and the same goes for my children, their entire life. My youngest keeps telling me, I don't know what life would be like without cancer. So when people ask me, if I'm okay with it, I don't know what my options are so we have, as a society, forgotten that it's not about a patient who just needs a medical treatment. It's about a person who has a family and has loved ones. And so at Venture Therapy, we're really educating this, we're changing the story. And I speak at a lot of corporate events to teach them that they must address the need of the entire family, not just the patient. And we definitely do that at all of our events as well. Definitely, yeah. So we're gonna have breakout sessions in the morning, and I'm a part of a group of 12 nonprofits who all serve the East Bay, and so they're going to lead the breakout sessions in the morning. There, because everyone does something different. There's so many needs around the cancering experience that there can be 12 of us, 12 different organizations, and we can all do something different and still not meet all the needs. So definitely have lots of other resources there, and there will be a resource fair as well.